Hello and welcome to Travel Better. My name is Hannah and I'm your adventure and sustainable travel specialist. Today I'm joined by Anthony Iozzia from Atlas Ocean Voyages. Atlas is a relatively new luxury small ship cruise line, and they're starting off on the right foot with some incredible sustainability initiatives. I'm really excited to talk to you today. Thank you so much for being here, Anthony.
Thank you, Hannah. Thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to not only chat with you, but to chat to all your Facebook fans out there in cyberspace, and to learn a little bit more about Atlas Ocean Voyages and what we have to offer and how we care about the planet. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad we can chat today, and I'm excited to learn more myself. I know that Atlas is still building your fleet, so tell me everything.
Okay, all right, good. I'll just jump right into my presentation then,
Sure.
and hopefully you'll have a better feel, and your audience will have a better feel of what we're all about over the next half hour. So thank you so much for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Great.
And of course, it's freezing up. There we go. All right, so this is our ship. We have one ship in the water right now called the World Navigator, and she is in Europe as we speak. So just giving a better idea of who I am, what my position is. I am the regional sales director for Atlas Ocean Voyages. I cover the Northeast United States as well as Eastern Canada. And I've been in the travel business about 30 years now. On January 5th, I had my 30th anniversary in the business. So just over 30 years of fun industry. My love and my passion is small ship cruising. When I was younger, I loved the bigger ships. I loved being with 2,000, 3,000 people. But as I got a little older and hit my 40s and 50s and approaching 60, I prefer just to be around, a couple hundred people as opposed to 5,000, 6,000 people. Just my personal preference.
Mm-hmm.
But my kids are on the other hand, they'd rather be around 5,000 people, and more power to them. So what I'm going to do now, just to give you a better feel of what Atlas Ocean Voyage is all about, I'm going to show a 2.5-minute video to just give you a good feel. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Sure. Wow.
Enjoyed the video there.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. And one thing I want to clarify on, I know I touched on it very briefly when I had the picture of the slide of myself and my title. It says regional sales director, and I cover the Northeast US and Eastern Canada. What I act specifically, or who I deal with, is strictly travel advisors or travel agents like Hannah. So I typically don't deal with the consumer or the guests that travel on board our ship. I just work 365 days a year working with the travel advisor or travel agent community. So anybody out there that's looking to take one of our cruises, I definitely recommend contacting Vacations by Hannah. Contact her. I'll show her slide again at the end as well with her contact information if you don't have it. But you can call directly to Atlas Ocean Voyages to book a cruise, but I highly, highly, highly discourage it, because you're going to get much better service dealing with Hannah. She knows the industry. She knows what cabins are best for you. She knows how to find the best deal. She's someone to contact if you want her to do air as well or help with excursions. So we're big advocates, Atlas as a company, of working with the travel agent community, because they're invaluable, especially in these crazy days and times with canceled flights and things going on. It's always good to have an advocate for you that's taking care of you and your needs and your best interests. I just wanted to clarify that. I should have mentioned that more when I was talking on that slide. So
Thank you. I appreciate that.
little commercial for you, Hannah.
That's great. Can you just travel around with me and tell people
Yeah,
that?
sure. I'll be your wingman there and
Sure.
give you free promotion. So just a little bit about Atlas Ocean Voyages. We're based in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We've been in business for 2.5 years now, but we really just started sailing 11 months ago. So we are a very new company. It's a new niche, which is considered luxe-adventure, which is the combination of those two words, luxury and adventure. I'll touch on that in a second. And we're also expedition style cruising as well. And our ship did debut in August of 2021. So this is the CEO and president of our parent company, Mario Ferrara. He works and owns Mystic Invest, and they're not well known in North America. They're very, very, very big in Europe. They're based in Portugal, and they own river cruise companies, ocean companies. They own theme parks and hotels, and they're just a gigantic company in Europe, and they wanted more of a presence in North America, so they started our company, Atlas Ocean Voyages. So we're very, very fortunate to have Mario and Mystic Invest and their financial backing. Like I said, they're a multi-billion-dollar company, so we're very fortunate that we have them to support us. So even though we're small and not that well known, we do have the expertise, the 35 years of expertise that Mystic Invest does have. So I mentioned that it's a new category of cruising, which we're introducing, is luxe-adventure. So it is the marriage of those two words, luxury and adventure. There are luxury companies out there that are, very high end and take care of their customers. And there's adventure companies out there, cruise lines, but there's not too many that have both combined. So we're all about combining the two. And what is luxe-adventure? It's being all-inclusive. So it's being a cruise ship. But once you're on board, you don't have to worry about too many expenses while on board. Having great accommodations, nice size staterooms, having an inclusive community environment. And what I mean by that is 99% of our customers are from United States and Canada. And that's what our focus is. So it's and they tend to be like-minded people. We get people on the average age between 40 and 68 years old. That's the average age. We'll get younger people than that, and we'll get older people than that, but a majority of our guests are in that age category. So they're like-minded, they're at a certain point in their life, and it just, by the time, day 2 on the ship, you might know half the people on board because the ship is so small, and I'll touch on that in a second. So it's just a fun atmosphere. We have globally inspired cuisine, which is not only presented beautifully, but also quite delicious. And then we have some great excursions that people can take advantage as well. So this is our one and only ship. It is the World Navigator, and this is what's included in all of our sailings. They get unlimited premium wine and spirits. You get regionally sourced gourmet cuisine. You get a standard Wi-Fi packages included. L'Occitane bath amenities are in every single bathroom. If you have a suite, you get butler service and laundry service. This is important for us, and I know you'll appreciate this. And it might not be important to everyone, but it's definitely important to me, and I know it's important to Hannah, and I know it's important to our company. Every stateroom will get a high quality reusable water bottle, and then we have a purified filling station on board. We're not fans of single-use plastics. We try to minimize those as much as possible. So every stateroom will get this high quality metal water bottle in the stateroom. It has the Atlas logo on it. And then as the day goes on, you need to fill it up. We have this great station right by Paula's Pantry, which I'll show you in a few slides. And you go there, you'll get delicious, cold, purified water. So we do everything in our power to try to protect the environment. And you'll hear this as we go along in the presentation. I know Hannah is a big fan of sustainability and really protecting Mother Earth. So, and also included are gratuities on all of our sailings. Specialty dining and all dining is included, including room service. And then if you do one of our trips to Antarctica, we include charter jet service from Buenos Aires down to the southern tip of Argentina to the town of Ushuaia. So, Hannah, any questions as we're going along, or you want me to just keep plugging away?
I mean, so far so good. This sounds incredible, and I love that you're highlighting some of the sustainability initiatives that you already have on board. That's incredible. I love that. That's right from the get-go of your company. So it's important to me, and I'm glad that it's important to you.
Very, very, very important. I was saying thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just move along.
Sure.
What else is included in all of our programs is what we call Atlas Assurance. This is COVID insurance, and we know in this crazy time that we're in, people are worried about being overseas, and God forbid you test positive and can't come back when you want to. This insurance is included in all of our cruise fares, so you'll get the COVID insurance and emergency medical evacuation, travel assistance. So we'll take care of you while you're out there. If by chance you do test positive and have to stay out in wherever you are for an extra 5 days, this will help you out. I mentioned that adult beverages are included, so you get the unlimited premium pours are included on all of our cruises. And the nice thing about this is you go up to any bar, the pool, swimming pool area, or the restaurant, or any of the couple lounges that we have. It's all taken care of. You don't have to worry about signing anything or pulling out your card to pay for it. It's all taken care of. And we even take it to another level. In your stateroom, we have a mini bar, and it's loaded, with beverages, complimentary as well. And then we'll even ask everyone that travels with us a few weeks prior, what is your favorite spirit? And for each guest, and we'll have a full-size bottle of the 2 spirits for the 2 guests for their, to enjoy if they want to hang out in their balcony and have a cocktail. So one person likes a bourbon, and the other person likes tequila. We'll have a bottle of each waiting for them when they check in. So we're trying to think of the little things to make vacation as stress-free as possible. This is important for us as well. This slide here, and what it talks about is, even though it's a small ship, it has some really great qualities. It has propellerless hybrid engines. We have 2 Rolls-Royce engines in there, and they're hybrid. And the great thing about these engines, I mean, they're brand new. The ship is brand new, only been sailing for 11 months. So it has the latest technology. And this ship here will use 1/5 of the fuel that a similar size ship would use. So we're trying to leave as small of a carbon footprint as possible. And having these ships that are super fuel efficient are just, extremely beneficial to the Earth. Another thing you'll read here, and it says it includes anchorless positioning. And what this means, and what I really love, is say we're out in the middle of the ocean or somewhere near land, and we want to maybe have people go on kayaks right off the side of our boat, or we want to launch some Zodiacs right from the side of the boat, and we need to drop an anchor. If we are concerned, or we sense that there are coral reefs below us or some sea life below us, we don't have to drop an anchor. This state-of-the-art technology with this anchorless positioning is, we hit a button and the ship will stay stationary like it's dropping an anchor, but without actually dropping an anchor and without disturbing the life below
Wow.
the water. So
That's incredible. Incredible. I've never heard of that before, but that's really cool.
yeah, I honestly never heard of it until it was on this particular ship. And I'm sure other ships have it. I don't want to say we're the only cruise line in the world that has it. I'm sure other cruise lines do have it. I just haven't heard of any that have it. So I'm very pleased that we do have this type of fuel efficient engines, propellerless engines, and then having this anchorless positioning is just another way of taking care of this great earth that we have here.
Wow, that's amazing.
Thanks. So to talk more about the World Navigator, and you might be surprised on how few guests it does take on board. We only take 196 guests on every sailing. That's maximum capacity on board our ship. So it definitely pales in comparison to some of the other cruise lines that you may have sailed with or you see advertised a lot. And you'll see a lot of the big cruise lines advertised. And these cruise lines will take 2,000, 3,000. There's a cruise line out there that they have ships that hold 6,800 people on board, and that's guests. And I spoke to an employee of this cruise line, and they said with crew, it's well over 10,000 people on board those ships. And that's great. Like I said, it's great for a lot of people. People love it. They're super popular. But for me and a lot of the people that travel with Atlas, they don't want to be with 6,000 or 10,000 people. They want to be with 200 people at most. They want to be on a boutique style hotel. This is like basically like a boutique style floating hotel, and it's just a nice way to travel. So you see here where it says 196 guests, and then we have 186 guests in Antarctica. So when we visit the great white continent of Antarctica, we take even 10 less guests than that because we have a lot of those staterooms are being used for our expedition team. We have a crew to guest ratio, which is 1 to 1.4. And what that means is for every one guest traveling on our ship, we have 1.4 employees or crew to take care of that one guest. So this is a really great ratio. So you know the service is going to be fantastic. I'm not going to go over a bunch of the other things, so you'll see some pictures. But we do have a heated pool. We have a couple hot tubs as well. And I'll just move along. Won't spend a lot of time on this, but this is our deck plans. Most of the staterooms are on deck 5 and 6. I'd say about 90% of the staterooms are on deck 5 and 6. We do have a couple ADA accessible staterooms as well, just to keep that in mind. And then our second ship is coming out soon. The World Traveler will be coming out later this year. And you notice it's spelled with 2 L's, World Traveler. That's I know in the United States we spell it with 1, but in Canada and well, in Europe, it's with the 2 L's. And being we're Portuguese based, even though we're an American company, that's the way we spell it. Then the World Seeker is coming out soon after that. Then the World Adventure and the World Discover. So we're gonna have 5 ships that are all identical and all holding 196 people. I won't spend a lot of time on this, but just so you can see the 4 types of balconies that we offer. So all the staterooms are balconies, either French balcony or a traditional balcony. So most of the staterooms are 270 square feet to 300 square feet. So they're quite large. And these are our standard staterooms and, big floor plans and nice sized bathrooms as well. And then we have 4 types of suites as well. The Navigator suite is the largest at 465 square feet. And then we have a few others as well. And then we have the solo suite on the far right. And this is for single travelers, and there's no single supplement as well. So keep that in mind. There's no single supplement. These are our basic staterooms, the smallest ones we have, 270 square feet, but they have a nice sitting area, queen size bed that could be separated into 2 twins if people do not want it as a queen. The one on the left is the French balcony. So that top window drops down to the bottom window electrically by pushing a button by your bed. And then the one on the right, that's actually a walkout balcony with 2 chairs and a table and 52 square feet of space out there as well. And there are beautiful bathrooms. If you do book any of our rooms at all, any category, you will get actual documents. A lot of cruise lines got away from actual real documents that you could touch. Most companies are doing everything electronically. Everything's email, all your paper documents, but we give you a nice leather bound booklet and luggage tags presented nicely so you can carry all your passport and all your important documents in this. And if you book one of our Navigator suites, one of our 4 Navigator suites on board the ship, you get this high quality aluminum carry-on as well. And this is complimentary for all the suites.
Wow.
Yeah, and then on board, it's small. I mean, being the ship only holds 196 people. It's not like the big ships, but we do have a nice sized gym. So you'll see a couple bicycles and treadmills. They do have complimentary yoga classes and stretching classes on board. We try to have them outdoors, weather permitting. We have complimentary smoothies and detox drinks available throughout the day as well. And then there's the swimming pool in the upper right. And you can't see the picture, but there's a couple hot tubs as well. So there's some nice things to do in the daytime, but usually in the daytime you're on land somewhere, because our cruises are very port intensive, which means we try to be at a beautiful, great area to explore as much as possible and try to minimize the amount of days at sea. So you're not, most of the times that day you're going to be exploring somewhere in Europe or South America or wherever we may be. But we do have these great things to take advantage of if we have a day at sea.
I think that's what I love about the small ship cruises, is because they're smaller, you can get into some of the smaller ports, the cities that those larger ships can't reach, right? So you're able to get off and get on land more often, which is great.
Yeah, exactly, Hannah. That's a good point. Because our ship only holds 196 people, it's the bottom of the ship, hit ground like these bigger ships will. So we could go into these hidden harbors and unique ports and fishing villages where the big ships can't go to. And we try to avoid the big touristy areas where you might have 3 or 4 other mega ships there with 10,000 people getting off, and all these tourist traps, all these jewelry shops and t-shirt shops and liquor stores. We try to avoid that at all costs. I mean, sometimes we do have to hit an area like Barcelona or some of these beautiful areas where you just have to go no matter what. So there will be other ships there. But for the rest of the cruise, or as much as possible, we're going to go to these little harbors and hidden villages where the big ships aren't allowed to get to. So there's not a lot of tourists there. And it's mainly the locals hanging out, and there's great local bars and pubs and cafes and shops. So it's just a totally different experience when you're traveling on a ship with under 200 guests versus to these ships that have 2,000, 3,000, 6,000.
Right. I mean, from a sustainability perspective too, that is so incredible for spreading, traveler money to places in a country or a destination that don't normally see tourists, right? So here we are supporting more of the local economy too by doing that. So that's great.
Right. And the locals there, some of these places we go to, really do appreciate when they see our ship pull in, because most ships aren't going there. So when they see Atlas pull in, like, oh, great. Now we're going to have 200 people, 196 people from Canada and the United States coming in, and they're going to, support our economy. They're going to go to our shops and buy our local goods. They're going to stop at a cafe and maybe have a wine and some appetizers. And also when we go to some of these ports, we'll always have shore excursions available from all these different ports, and we're hiring the local people to run these excursions. So we're supporting their economy. So they're very excited when we come in and say, okay, we want to take our guests to a winery or a farm or go whitewater rafting or whatever it may be around the world. We're hiring the locals. And when you're doing a sightseeing tour, you want a sightseeing tour from one of the locals. If we're going to Iceland, for example, you don't want someone from Italy or from Norway giving the tour in Iceland. You want someone that was born and raised in Iceland and lived there their entire life giving the tour. So we're supporting local tourism, the local people, and in some of these areas, like I said, when we go to, we're one of 3 ships that are small enough to get into these areas. So they treat us like gold. Like, oh, great, we have some great people that want to come here and spend money, and they're excited when they see us come in. They're so friendly towards us. So we appreciate them, and they appreciate us and all of our guests. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. And we do have a spa on board, and I'm quite pleased on the size of the spa for such a small ship. It is quite large, and we are the only spa on the 7 seas that is sponsored by luxe-adventure, so a very well-known French company. And they sponsor us, so all their products are being used in the spa. We have some things that are complimentary, like the relaxation room on the left or the sauna in the middle. But we also have some other spa treatments that are available, but there's a fee for that as well. And then at night, it's low-key entertainment or low-key hanging out. Like we're not a big ship, so we're not going to have the big Broadway shows or Las Vegas type shows, but we will have a small cabaret show. We'll have a keyboard player, a guitarist, and a singer playing some music. People are dancing, but it's very low key. The lounges are quite intimate and relaxing, and people are just conversing and having a great time and winding down and sharing stories about what they did that particular day and what excursions they did. And it's just a fun way to wind down and relax and have a cocktail or two, and then hit the sack and then start the next day in a totally different port, another different great village, and go on another amazing excursion. So it's a really nice way to see the world. It's like in your floating boutique hotel. So you only unpack once. You get on the ship, you unpack, and then every day you wake up at another great port or great excursions. So I'm gonna just fly through a few of these, some of our public areas. This is our Atlas Lounge that is used quite often. And then we have the Dome Observation Lounge, which is deck 7, great views from here. Not quite 360-degree views, but they're gorgeous views, a beautiful tile floor. Then it's not a good picture of the ceiling, but if you look up in the ceiling, there's a giant dome there to view the stars and the moon. Just another picture of the Dome Lounge. We'll have some light snacks in here as well throughout the day, maybe some finger sandwiches or some pastries for people to enjoy. We have a really nice auditorium. I was also surprised when I went on the ship. My first cruise I did was just this past February. I went to Antarctica with my wife. Wow. And I love the ship. I was blown away on how much common area or public area there is for such a small ship and only 196 guests. I mean, the auditorium was huge. It was able to hold everybody that was on board the ship could be in here for some type of presentation or lecture. And it was very, very comfortable.
Do you offer? Oh, sorry, just a question about, you mentioned lectures. Do you offer lectures about the destinations that you're going to?
Yes. It depends on where you are, but it's definitely some areas lend themselves to lectures more than others, but definitely like when we're going to heading north in Europe to Iceland, Greenland, those areas, the Arctic region, there's going to be a lot of lectures. Antarctica, there's a lot of lectures. I mean, they're all optional, they're all complimentary, but we'll usually have 2 a day, maybe 1 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon. And we'll have one of our great leaders or expedition members giving these lectures, and they do a PowerPoint presentation or show videos. And the nice thing about it is we're broadcasting it throughout the entire ship. So you could join the lecture live and sit in one of those comfy seats. Let me just go back. You can sit in one of these comfy seats and enjoy the presentation. But we'll also have some TVs, giant TVs in the public areas where if you just want to sit there as well and relax and enjoy the presentation, or you don't even have to leave the comforts of your own stateroom. You could be sitting in your cabin, relaxing, having room service delivered to your stateroom, and then watching it on the TV. You're watching it live on the TV. So these are great. I mean, they really go in depth on like what, maybe one will be featured on what type of penguins you're going to see that day. And the next presentation is on icebergs and glaciers. And the next presentation is on whales, or one is just on sustainability and on how, cautious we have to be with Antarctica to protect it, and all the rules and regulations that are set up where you can only go, only so many people could go on the land at a time. So every lecture is different. They're also interesting, and they're led by an expedition team, which I'll touch on when I talk about Antarctica in a little bit. But yeah, cool. These lectures are great. We do have some nice dining options. I won't spend a lot of time on this, but we do have some incredible food. This is our main dining room, Porto, and this is our largest table that holds 14, but we also have a lot of tables for 2, tables for 4. You go in whenever you like. And we try to minimize the amount of waste that we have on board our ship. It's very important to us, and like I mentioned many times throughout the presentation, as a company, we really, really care about this planet, and we want to do what we can to protect it. So we're not like some of the big ships, and I don't want to be bad mouthing the big ships, and it seems like I'm coming off that way, and I apologize, but we're serving so few people that everything is made fresh when you sit down. It's not like the bigger ships where you might have a buffet and you have to serve 2,000 people at this buffet, and you have lots of food out there, and not all of it is eaten, unfortunately, and there's waste there. So we don't have to serve thousands of people. We're making this food, it's all refrigerated and it's there. And when you sit down and you place your order, it's like going to a 5-star restaurant. They're gonna make your food right there on the spot for you, and it's super fresh. And the portions aren't gigantic. I mean, you can order as much food as you want, but we're not gonna have a lot of waste. Is the bottom line. We're just making just per person what you order is what you serve, and we try to minimize as much waste as possible. I know, Hannah, that's important to you as well,
That's
right?
great. Yeah, that's awesome. A question I have is, where do you source your food? Do you get it from like the local communities that you visit, or like, how do you purchase that?
Yeah, it's both. We'll get a lot of the food at our main port where we start the cruise, where everyone embarks. That's where we'll have a lot of time we're spent there, and we'll have purveyors come there and bring us as much food as possible, as much food as our refrigerators could hold. But it's usually and rarely enough food to last the entire cruise. So we're continually stopping at local areas where our guests are enjoying the area, but we also have contacts in all this area to say, okay, we need 150 pounds of this type of fish, and we want this type of steak, and we want these fresh vegetables that were just picked, hopefully that day or the day prior. So we're trying to get as much fresh food from the various ports we go to, and also wines as well. We'll pick up various cases of wines from local areas as we're cruising along, just because we know people want to taste some of the local wines. They don't want everything from California, from Italy. They want to taste a nice little Croatian wine or something, another region that we're visiting. So it's a nice way to source from the areas. We're not only having fresh food for our guests, but we're also helping the local economies as well in the ports visit.
I love that. That's great. And plus you get a taste of the local cuisine too. So that's always a plus.
Yep. And we adjust the menus daily. So we know we might not print the menu until that particular day, that afternoon, because we might not know what fish is the freshest at that port we're going to. And if they say, cod, we just got a great shipment of cod that just came in at 5 a.m. this morning, we're like, okay, give us 120 pounds. And on that menu that night, we're going to have cod made various ways that our chef, sees fit. So it works out great for everybody.
That's awesome. Sounds delicious.
Yeah, I'm getting hungry myself.
Me too.
All right, so we have a couple other dining options. This is the outdoor section of the main restaurant. The previous picture was the restaurant Porto, and if weather permitting, right outside the restaurant, we have a lot of tables, and you'll see the pictures on the left that shows the schematics of how many tables we have. So we'll have that same menu that's in the main restaurant. We'll have that menu outside as well, so you could dine under the stars, have some fresh air. It's just a really great way to enjoy the meal.
Mm-hmm.
We also have what we call Paula's Pantry. This is more or less a grab and go type place, because you see there we only have 3 tables. It only holds 12 people, but it's really more just to grab something from this pantry here. We're not showing an employee in the picture, but there's always someone behind that counter, a barista making fresh cappuccinos, lattes, espressos, gourmet coffees and teas and hot chocolates, and everything's included. And then you'll see there on the left, we have different types of juices and detox drinks. In the afternoon, we might have some sandwiches and salads. In the mornings, we'll have fresh baked cookies and pastries and muffins. And it's all, like I said, complimentary. When I was on my cruise, it was open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So, and it's very centrally located. So you almost walk by this place, 10 times a day. So if you're leaving your stateroom and you want to go hang out by the pool, grab yourself a smoothie and a salad and head on out by the pool and relax. That's just a nice place to just grab something quick and head out. And then we also have a specialty restaurant, which is also complimentary. It's called 7 Aft. And this is outdoors, al fresco dining, out by the pool, hot tub area. Just enjoy the fresh air, the breezes. And this is more like a New York style steak house and fish house. So the food is incredible, very fancy. Reservations are required, but like I mentioned, it is complimentary. And then once you're on board the ship, you make the reservation. You just say, okay, on Wednesday, my wife and I, or my partner and I would like to have a 7 o'clock seating at 7 Aft, and boom, it's taken care of. We did some great shore excursions. I know we touched on this earlier, but every port we go to will have a variety of shore excursions to participate in. There is an additional fee for these excursions, and we have all different types that either could be low key, maybe a little walking tour, or they could be strenuous like bike riding or hiking on a lava field or hot air ballooning, whitewater rafting, and there'll be a variety of options. So from basic to super strenuous, and then everything in between. And we'll have these available at every single place where we stop. You'll have this option. Or some people just explore on their own, or they'll hire their own driver and do something, or just arrange their own excursions, or just walk around on their own. It's totally up to you, but we give you the option to do whatever makes sense, for your vacation.
I love the variety that you offer too. So, if you're really adventurous, you can go cycling. And if you want to just chill out, you can do a city tour or just walk around, and that's great.
Yep. And we learned early on, because we're a new company and we just started sailing in August, that we needed to revamp a lot of our excursions because we were getting feedback from our clients. They're like, okay, your excursions are great. We love the options. We love the varieties. But we had a lot of people saying, we want more adventuresome type excursions. So we started adding that. We had a lot of customers saying, we want more private excursions. So we started adding a lot more private or semi-private or small groups. So we try to have a lot of excursions that might only have 4 people, 6 people, 12 people on it, as opposed to some of these like bus tours that some of the other cruise lines will have like 44 people on excursion. We try to, I don't think we have any that really that will hold that many people. It's more, private, semi-private, or at least small group. And that's based on the feedback we got from our customers over the last 11 months. Is that what they want? So
that makes sense. That's awesome.
Good. And this gives you an idea of when our ships are coming out. The next 4 ships. The World Navigator was launched this past August of last year, and then the World Traveler is coming out November 1st, only a few months away. We're so excited to have the inaugural of her hitting South America. And then the World Seeker will be coming out spring of 2023, the World Adventure in the spring of 2024, and then later in that same year, the World Discoverer will come out. And there's pictures on the right are in the shipyard that's in Portugal. All of our ships are made in Portugal. And one of my earlier slides showed the picture of Mario Ferrara, our CEO of Mystic Invest. And I mentioned all the great things that he owns in the travel industry. I neglected to mention that he also owns this shipyard right here. So we're lucky that not only does he own a lot of companies out there, but he owns the company that makes our ships. So we get top priority. So our ships come out the quickest and perfect and ready to go because he owns the shipyard and he owns the cruise line. So we're lucky there.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm gonna quickly just touch on where we go, just so you have an idea of where around the world we go. And like Hannah brought up, and I mentioned that because the ship is so small, we have a lot of unique itineraries. So we're able to go to some of these smaller places and hidden harbors and fjords and areas where big ships just are banned from going there because they would hit bottom if they came anywhere near some of these places. So just to give you an idea where we go: South America, Mediterranean, British Isles, Northern Europe with Norway, Iceland, Greenland. We also hit the Baltic area. We do transatlantics as well, and then Central America as well. We also touch on the Canary Islands and South Africa. So there's other places that I didn't even mention there. These are our popular trips that are happening within the next couple of weeks. These are really important programs for us. Even though the ship is luxurious and gorgeous, it's really built for the colder weathers, colder regions, areas where there's icebergs floating around, and just these ships, they're steel reinforced, they're polar ships. So our 2 main programs is the northern part of Earth and the southern part of Earth are 2 main areas. We'll hit other areas along the way, like I showed in the previous slides, but this is like our more popular programs this time of year, going to Norway, Iceland, and Greenland. And these are coming up anywhere from 7 days to 13 days. And if you have any interest in looking for polar bears or hitting the Arctic Circle, keep us in mind. Contact Tana. She'll check on prices and availability and make some suggestions. But these programs are definitely not your run-of-the-mill type programs. Like I mentioned, the southern part of the world is really probably our most popular programs. We have 19 departures going to Antarctica coming up this season, and Antarctica, being it's south of the equator, has opposite seasons. So that our winter is their summer. So we go there during their summer, which is November through March. So that's when we run all of these departures. We're going to have 19 departures, and they're going to range in length from nine nights to 20 nights. And here's some pictures I took on my last trip. My wife and I were there on February 14th. Our ship set sail, and I'll show you a few more pictures in a second. But just so you know, we have a lot of naturalists on board and experts on board. We do provide parkas, knee boots, and binoculars on these cruises. The knee boots and binoculars are there for you to use during your adventure, but they stay on board after you head home. The parkers are for you to keep, to take home with you, and they're really high quality with a zip out liner or a zip out vest is built in. Really nice jackets. And we do include complimentary airfare on these programs from Buenos Aires to Ushuaia is included. And even on our Arctic programs, when you're going into Longyearbyen, we have a private charter from Oslo over to Longyearbyen for the Arctic cruises as well. So this is included. This is our expedition team. We're continually rotating and adding different people as the years go on. But these people are very, very passionate about where we're taking them. They're going to give you lead these lectures that we were talking about. They're all just so well versed in the region we're visiting. Most of them have their PhD or doctorate. They're just very, very knowledgeable. They love where they're visiting. They really care about Earth more than anyone I met. They're just all about sustainability and going green and minimizing the carbon footprint that we tend to leave. And they'll really instill that in our guests. And most of our guests care about the planet more than most people that I've met on other cruise lines. So we just tend to draw people that just love the environment, and they're going to these places that are not your run-of-the-mill places. They're going to places where you could tell that they care about the environment. So these lecturers or these expedition team will not only be giving lectures throughout the cruise, but they're leading a lot of these excursions that we take on when we go on a Zodiac ride, maybe visiting some land or looking for polar bears or looking for penguins or seals or whales. They'll be in the Zodiac with you. They're leading you on some of these land excursions when we go to Antarctica. And they're on the ship the entire time. So you might see them at the bar and have a cocktail with them. They might invite you for dinner. So you'll get to know these people, and they're a lot of fun too. They're not only knowledgeable and care about the planet, but they're just great people. So we're very lucky to have this expedition team with us on these Arctic voyages. These are just some pictures I took. Those are the Zodiacs on the top there. They hold 12 people, but we only take 10 people, plus the expedition leader will be driving. We have a lot of kayaks and stand-up paddle boards. And then the bottom right there, if you want to do a little polar plunge in the Antarctica, we have a harness on you as well in case you panic when you jump in. We'll lead you to safety. But
Did you do the polar plunge?
Yes, I did. It was oh my goodness.
Was it hard?
It was shocking a little bit, but it was fun. As soon as you hit the water, you lose your air for like a second. You're like, wow, that was exhausting. This is my favorite picture that I took. I love this.
Wow, look at all those penguins.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
And one morning, my wife and I were lazy, and we didn't want to go for breakfast in the dining room, so we just ordered room service, and we just said, let's get juice, coffee, and an omelet, no sides, nothing. And we're just sitting here in our stateroom, looking at the beautiful scenery of Antarctica, just from the comforts of our own room. So this is all. Wow. And rooms, 24-hour room service is included, all of our voyages. That's my wife and I on the right there, and that's the parkas that you get included in all of our Antarctica voyages. And they were on the Zodiac, leaving the ship, heading to land. And then the World Traveler is coming out November 1st, like I mentioned. We're real excited about her joining our fleet of one. So we'll double our fleet to a fleet of two. So we're able to go to a lot more destinations and double the amount of people that we could take with us. So we're real anxious and excited for November 1st to hit us. This will be the first voyage that she takes on November 1st. She's going to do an 8-night program from Ushuaia, do a 2-night crossing through the Drake Passage, and that's the southern tip of Argentina. Yeah, Ushuaia, and you have a 2-day passage across, and then you'll be exploring Antarctica for a few days and hit Cape Horn and then back to Ushuaia. And then she'll end up staying in Ushuaia and doing some longer cruises there throughout the season from November through March. We have a couple of promotions going on, just so you're aware of, and Hannah can give you more details if you contact her. Our big promotion going on right now is we're giving $5,000 bonus savings per stateroom. So this is, up to $2,500 per person, or $5,000 for the stateroom, and it depends on which voyage you go on. So it's anywhere from $500 per person up to $2,500 per person. And this promotion just started a few days ago on July 1st and goes through September 30th. Another promotion we have is for veterans. So if you have any veterans of the United States or Canada, we give you a 20% discount off our lowest fare that we have. So whatever promotion we have going on, this is above and beyond that. So you get an additional discount. We love the military in America. I know the Canadians are very proud of their military, so we support them as well. We'll give this discount as well. We do have a promotion that if you do back-to-back sailings, because a lot of our voyages are totally unique. So you could do one sailing and then stay on the ship, and the next sailing is totally different. So you're not repeating anything. We'll give you a discount, 10% discount off each voyage if you do a back-to-back. And if you do 3 or more consecutive voyages, you get a 15% discount off of each voyage. I don't like to read slides word for word, but I'm going to read this one. I'm just summarizing. These are my last few slides, but I like to read this. We are large enough to comfortably spoil up to 196 guests with large staterooms and suites, multiple dining options, lounges, spas, pools, and more, yet small enough to cruise through the Corinth Canal, cruise through the Kiel Canal, cruise in the Grand Canal in Venice, and cruise under the Tower Bridge in London. So we have a lot of great public areas, common areas, nice staterooms, but we could go to these little areas and do things like this where the bigger ships are not allowed to do. So that pretty much sums everything up. I appreciate your time. Hannah, did you have any additional questions for me? I know I've been rambling on a bit there. I get a little excited about my product here, and I don't give you any chance to jump in because I'm just excited.
No, that's okay. It's okay. I'm excited. I mean, even with just your one ship, I feel like you're already going to so many places and you have such a great product. So I'm excited to learn about it and share it with my clients. I guess my one question could be like, how can guests get involved in sustainability? Is there a way for them to, let's say that they don't want their towels washed or their sheets washed or whatever? Are there programs where they can, help reduce their carbon footprint on board?
Yeah, sure. There's various options. They can let their cabin steward or stewardess know when they get on board, saying, you don't have to wash my sheets and my towels every day, maybe every second day or every third day, and we'll gladly honor their request. Also, they'll help us by using their refillable, high quality water bottle that we give them. Hopefully they'll use that throughout the trip and even take it on excursions with them and not buy single-use plastics. We encourage them, but we don't really encourage them, but our people tend to not over order food while on board, because I've been on some of these cruises where, and it's almost embarrassing, where it might even be a cousin of mine that I'm with, that they'll sit down and they'll at dinner and say, okay, I want these 3 appetizers, I want these 3 main courses, and I want these 4 desserts, because everything looks so great and sounds so great, and they could go berserk. And yeah, if you're going to eat all that, order as much food as you want. Please order 4 entrees if you want, but please eat it all. If you're going to eat it all, don't order everything on the menu just because it sounds good and you have 3 bites of each and you're wasting it. We don't want to waste. It's just, we need to order what we're going to eat because we need to take care of the planet. We don't want to have to throw stuff out or recycle it if need be. So our guests on board, I've noticed, and on the sailing I went, I dined with many people, they order what they're going to eat. They're going to have 1 or 2 appetizers or a soup and salad and something else and an entree and maybe 2 desserts because they're on vacation, they want to splurge, but they're not ordering 3 entrees and 5 appetizers. And it's nice to see that the type of clients that we're getting on board our ship, that they care about the planet and they care about their health as much as we want them to. So that's a couple of ways that they could help out while they're on board.
If let's say when they're in port, if the clients are going to be eating off the ship, is there a way for them to let you know so that you don't make a lunch or a dinner, or I don't know how that would work?
Yeah, with us, we don't need to know because we don't make their food until they're
Right.
there on board the ship anyway. So it's not like we're going to be preparing a meal for them and they end up eating off the ship and we're wasting it. We're not going to prepare that meal, take it out of the refrigerator and cook it until they actually are sitting at the table and saying, this is what I want to order, what I want to
Right.
eat. So definitely
Okay, that
minimum.
makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess my final question would just be, what are Atlas Ocean Voyages' future goals? Maybe just as a cruise line in general, or sustainability goals. Are there any, by 2030, 2050, we want to do this, or anything that you're working towards?
Yeah, I can't speak for upper management or our parent company, but I know from the employees I spoke to that we're just all about making sure we're continually moving forward. We're looking for destinations that are untouched and we're not going to spoil those particular regions. And we're just going to take a few people there and not mess with the beauty that they have. We're going to continually look when we build additional ships, look for the newest and latest technologies and the most fuel efficient engines and different type recycling systems that are out there and air purification systems. So we're lucky we're in an environment now where technology is incredible and it's progressing so rapidly that we're out there looking for and dealing with these local companies and national companies and worldwide companies saying, okay, what's the most fuel efficient engine that's out right now or going to be made a year and a half from now? We want that on our next ship, because even though our ships are super efficient and hybrid and use 1/5 of the fuel of a similar size ship, we're sure 2 years from now there's going to be even a better engine out there. So we're building ships as we speak. So we hopefully our third ship coming out will have even this greatest technology that will use even less fuel and be more fuel efficient. So we're trying to minimize our carbon footprint as much as feasibly possible. And we're always looking for new ideas and technologies to help us along the way.
Awesome. Well, that sounds great. And maybe we should have you back when your next ship or your third ship is out, and we can talk more about all your new voyages that you have.
I would love that. I would love that. I appreciate that. And I thank you so much for the opportunity to present to you and to your Facebook followers. And hopefully they learn a little bit and feel as passionate about Atlas as I am. And like I mentioned earlier on, if you have any questions, please reach out to Hannah. There's her email address. There's her phone number, and she'll contact us and check on rates and availability and help you out with airfare. Any need you have, Hannah's the person for you. And even if you don't go with Atlas Ocean Voyages through Hannah, if you're doing anything anywhere around the world with any other cruise line or resort or hotel, definitely reach out to Hannah. She'll take great care of you.
Well, again, I appreciate that. That's very kind. Thank you so much for being on the show today. And I learned a lot, that's for sure. So I'm sure everyone did too. And we'll definitely have you back in the future.
All right, awesome. Thank you. And I appreciate it.
Thanks, Anthony.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Travel Better with Anthony Iozzia from Atlas Ocean Voyages. I know I want to go on a cruise right now, so hopefully you do too. And if you do, give me a call, send me an email, and we'll get you set up. Thanks again for joining, and we'll see you next time.